Pokémon is one of the most beloved franchises in the world. From the anime to the trading card game to the video games, Pokémon has expanded to become the beast that it is today. With success comes imitators also looking to climb to the top of the hill. Some of these Pokémon clones are much less subtle than others. In this video, we will be looking at both kinds of ripoffs, and you won't believe the nerve of the game developers in our final entry. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of our content and ring that bell to become part of our notification squad so you never miss a video. Without further ado, here are 6 Pokémon ripoffs that got what they deserved. Digimon. When the pretty obvious Pokémon knockoff Digimon first came out, it wasn't exactly a game. In 1997, Digimon made their first appearance in the form of little Tamagotchi toys because those were all the rage at the time until they started pooping all over the screen and died every time you reset. The anime debuted a year after Pokémon in 1999 and gained a massive following. All this success naturally led to the creation of a few video games. While entertaining enough to grab our attention as young and naive souls and to look for all the monsters we've seen on the show, the games were difficult to grasp. Digimon World, released in 2000, was an open-world exploration game. You play as a human summoned to the digital world by Gigimon, who partners you up with a Digimon, so you can save the world from feral infected Digimon and whatnot. You constantly had to monitor your Digimon, and it was a real pain in the you-know-what. Digimon World 2 was completely different from the first. It was a dungeon crawler where you didn't have to deal with pooping monsters anymore, but you did have to deal with enemies that do not scale well in difficulty and a ton of grinding. Let's just say that the Pokémon games are designed much better. Monster Rancher. Could there be a ripoff of a ripoff? Well, Monster Rancher might just be that. The goal of the game is to raise your monster high enough in rank to gain fame and access to rare creatures. 1999's Monster Rancher 2 is a fun but time-consuming game that had the same drawback as Digimon. Whenever your monster reached a high level, it would die. You did, however, have the option to freeze them, allowing you to play with them in versus mode against friends forever so their memory will never die. One of the coolest features in Monster Rancher games is the ability to receive random monsters from CDs of various media. Seriously, you could use a Kanye West album to get a monster, or Disc 2 of Final Fantasy VII to get another. The game has so many monsters, so it's worth trying. All Monster Rancher games have the same premise, and they even came out with a largely unsuccessful trading card game. Copycats. Little Masters. Oh man, this game is literally a spitting image of Pokémon, but with no substance whatsoever. Little Masters is a total clone downloadable from the App Store for iOS. It's got pixel art reminiscent of Pokémon Ruby and Sapphire for Game Boy Advance, and one look at the cute and clever names of the monsters will have you in stitches. A lizard monster called Warmander. Really? Come on, it even has a flame on its tail! The game also features some of the same elements and types as Pokémon does. To top it all off, you have to catch these monsters and train them to become the champion. Like so many mobile games, there's only so much you can do before you have to wait to regain stamina and whatnot. Little Masters has no story, so being able to only battle 2 to 3 monsters a day made the game progress super slowly and made the experience crazy boring. Little Masters, there is only one word to describe you. Shameless. Dragon Warrior Monsters. Dragon Quest might outdate Pokémon by a decade, but this particular spin-off of the series came years after Pokémon was a thing. In the first entry of the Dragon Quest Monsters series, Dragon Warrior Monsters, yeah, that's actually the title, you assemble a team of 3 monsters and fight other monsters. Beating bosses will unlock more warp gates, allowing you to explore more places. Your goal is to reunite with your sister by winning a tournament and raising the strongest monsters. The game encourages collecting and training monsters, but there isn't enough space for all of them. The storage feature is nothing like the boxes in Pokémon. If you don't use your monsters often, they begin to resent you and they'll disobey your commands. When fighting the final bosses, you never know when it'll end because there's no visible health bar, and you have no idea what monster is weak to what, so you're essentially running the game blind all the time. This game is just missing the simple fundamentals that Pokemon has mastered. Robopawn. Robopawn is a game that didn't really show its potential until the sequel, but the sequel wasn't an incredibly obvious ripoff, so we won't be talking about it in this video. The original Robopawn was released 2 years after Pokemon Red and Blue in 2000 and just resembles the game in every way. The battle screen looks the same, the main character's sprite looks the same, hell, everything looks the same. Robopawn released the Sun and Star versions at the same time and even uses a Pokédex-like style to describe each creature you discover. This is arguably as shameless a ripoff as Little Masters was, but it came out a decade earlier, so it's even worse. Don't even get me started on the names of these robots. It's like an ex-Pokemon developer just got drunk and every slurred word that came out of his mouth became a creature in Robopawn. City Spirit Go. Pokemon Go took the world by storm when it was released in July of 2016. It actually got people off their butt and into the real world to catch virtual Pokemon. Besides all the accidents it caused, it was a mobile game that showcased the future of augmented reality. The game quickly died down, and let's face it, who wants to go trekking through snow to search for Pokemon in the cold winter weather? Not us. Well, Pokemon Go is still unavailable in China, so what's their solution? To develop a complete ripoff, of course. City Spirit Go just sounds like a clone, and that's exactly what it is. The app is free to download, but of course includes plenty of microtransactions for the chronically impatient. The mascot of the game looks a bit like Pikachu, and there's plenty of interesting looking creatures you could catch. At least it gives something for Chinese Pokemaniacs to do, even though there's no augmented reality components to the game. After all, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, there you have it. Some of these game and show developers have no shame. Do you agree with this list? Do you know of any other Pokemon ripoffs that we may have missed? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all of our videos. Thanks for watching.